Hello everyone, welcome to the Lit Fest 2023. Today we have with our guest Mr. Abdullah Khan, where we have a book discussion on his masterpiece, A Man from Motihari and Patna Blues. Hi sir, welcome to the Lit Fest.
Thank you, Nitish, for having me on this platform.
Okay, so as we are going to discuss about you both books, so I would like to know a little bit about both of the books.
So, my first novel, Patna Blues, is about a middle-class boy called Arif, who aspires to become an IAS officer, but because of financial constraints of his family, he's not able to focus on his preparation, and finally, he has to face a lot of challenges. And in between, he falls in love with a married woman that also complicates the matter further. So basically, the story is set in the Bihari hinterland and talks about the Patna of 90s. The second novel, Man from Motihari, is set in Motihari and partly in the US. It's about Orwell connection with Motihari. So our protagonist, Aslam Sher Khan, was born in the same house where George Orwell had been born. So once he discovered that he is connected to Orwell in such a strange way, his life changes. So there are a bit of political, socio-political backdrop also. So both the stories are mostly set in Bihar.
Okay, so both of the stories are, set in Bihar. So why Orwell? Obviously, George Orwell is one of the most famous, literary figures of the English literature. And so why Orwell? Because there had been, multiple people of, who had been a literary figure from Bihar. So any, may say, intentional
No,
setup of that.
huh. It was by chance, actually, when I discovered that Orwell was born in my home district. So that inspired me to become a writer. So somewhere in the back of my mind, there was a idea that I would write something about the Orwell. Initially, I thought I would do a book about Orwell's stay in Motihari, and then uh, something about his days in Myanmar and in other places. Basically, initially, idea was about to write a non-fiction book about the Orwell and connect those stories with his birth in Motihari. But then suddenly, when Bangladesh #1 newspaper, Daily Star, asked me to do a story about Orwell's birthplace, so I visited that bungalow, which is still there. So just I was standing there taking photographs and talking to people about the Orwell's legacy. Suddenly it struck me that what if a local guy is born in same house? How it will impact his life? Because this is not an ordinary house. Uh, so some way the germ of the idea started there. Then after some time, when I had a proper plot and character, I started writing. So it was accidental, you can say,
Okay, it was
not
not
planned.
intentional, it was just accidental. So George Orwell is very famous for, the political satire, especially Animal Farm, and political discourse. So what is your take on, satire?
So if you try to compare my writing with the Orwell, obviously uh, my my writing will anyway it cannot be compared. He was a great author. Moreover, my style is different. So the way he used to write, the kind of topic he used to choose is different from me. But there are some common thread which you find in my book, which might be similar to Orwell, is the political discourse of that time. So Orwell's writing was political in nature. So everything was political there, whether it is Animal Farm or it's
1984.
uh, Burmese days or it's 1984. So in my story also, many readers like it. Many complain that there is a political story or political backdrop going alongside the main plot line. So I believe that no story exist in vacuum. You cannot ignore the main events of the time your story is set in. Then it would sound fake. If a story is set in 1947, obviously you will talk about the partition. If a story is set in 1857, you will talk about the first war of independence. So you can't escape.
Agreed.
So I right, many writers do that. They will simply put the historical details in the under the carpet. I don't want to do that. So that way, there is a political concern. There is a need to comment on the politics of that time, which Orwell used to do, and I do the same. So this, and there is a concern for the underdogs. That is common between my writing and Orwell's writing. So Orwell is always vouching for the underdogs. Even in the Burmese days, you feel how sympathetic he is about the local people. And the main protagonist keep telling that we English people try to justify our occupation, but that we have come for the betterment of the local population. The truth is that we had our own vested interest. We are getting more out of these local people than whatever they are getting from us. So these kinds of concerns in there.
Okay. So you talked about that your one of your book is, set in the 90s. And as you said that, you have also, a bench of political discourse and being from Bihar and myself being from Bihar. So I'd like to know what is your take on the Bihar of 90s?
So there were kind of changes happening in Bihar. There were some positive changes, some negative changes also. So after the arrival of new kind of politics, uh, which started with the announcement of Mandal Commission. So the class, the marginalized class, which was not active participant in the political leadership, so that changed. So that was the positive change. But there was some kind of social upheaval. There were some issues of law and order also. So that was the negative thing. So there are mix of good thing, bad things happened there. So you can't say at that time everything was bad. Something was not good, but something happened,
Yeah,
came
of
out
course, there
good.
are good things and
Thing.
bad things in any era.
Yes.
Yeah,
So that was changing. And, there was my generation was uh, especially those who born in 70s. So they have seen the technology becoming an integral part of our life. So when we were in school, we are not aware about even the existence of computer, especially in small villages and towns. We did not know what the computer was. And then we saw how it becomes a part of our life, daily life, even from washroom to office, train to your bedroom, everywhere. It is
everyone
all
has a
purpose.
smartphone.
Without technology, you can't tell. So those changes I had witnessed, and somewhere I wanted to document those in the form of fiction.
Okay. You also, as you said that your protagonist RF is in a preparation of IS, UPSC, and in Bihar it has a special craze for UPSC. So I would like to know a little bit about that aspect.
So when I was growing up in Bihar, obviously, like all other parents, my father wanted me to be an IPS officer or IS officer. Since he was in Bihar police, so his more focus was on IPS because he used to see the IPS badge on my soldiers. But I was not very keen, to be honest. I tried my best. Luckily or unluckily, I did not succeed. So, but during my preparation and I met so many people. Some people had made their life goal that if they did not achieve IAS, then there may be the end of their life. And one unfortunate incident happened in my surrounding area. One guy who appeared for the IAS 4 times, and he was a bright guy, not a someone average guy. He appeared in the IAS, and 3 times he cleared the written part. At the interview level, he got stuck. After the 4 attempt, he never returned. So his dead body was found in the river Ganges. So that was a kind of triggering moment. So I thought of Arif. a character, a middle class, typical Bihari boy who is obsessed about uh,
UPSC.
highest dreams, UPSC. So, but I made sure that uh, it is not end of the life if you don't get selected. So Arif accepts whatever comes his way. So that kind of message I wanted to give.
Okay. As you said, obviously that's not the end of life. Any exam, whether it be UPSC or whether any exam of the world, is not the end of the life. But because you said that you had been from a different era as of the Gen Z, 1970, 80s, 90s. So what difference do you feel in the thought process of, the your generation and this current generation?
So but basically, Nitish, every generation has problem with their previous generation and the old generation a problem with the new generation because there is a change of moral landscape. There is change of the way they conduct within the society. So obviously, there is in the way the new generation speak about. Uh, Especially, I get pissed when they are not able to tell the numbers in Hindi or Indian language. So if they unasi, so the first thing, even my daughters, Raj, English में क्या कहते हैं? Unasi ko. So that kind of things I try to teach them Hindi and Urdu so that they should not forget the legacy. But this is the linguistic style and many curse word they use in their language, which was not there in our time. The parents-son relationship or parents-daughter relationship have also gone under change. My father was quite peaceful. He never slapped me. He never scolded me, but still there was a sense of discipline. So if we are going out, we must return at a particular time, or we uh, uh, follow our parents' instructions. So new generation are more comfortable with their parents, and parents are also very kind, very pampering kind of. So the kind of discipline that used to happen in 90s and 80s is no more. So there are some parents still in 90s or 80s mode, but mostly they have changed. So
There is
that
an
is a
old
good
school thought process, where
thing.
you have to keep being a strict
Yeah.
father, especially being a father, you have to be strict so that your child can be,
And even someone is not strict, people used to mock them. The kind of peer pressure used to have on those persons. So even the father did not want to be strict. People around them will force would force him to be strict. अरे तुम तो बहुत ढीले ढाले हो तुम्हारे बच्चे बिगड़ जाएंगे. So they used to think कि अगर थप्पड़ नहीं लगाया डांटा नहीं तो then they will do nothing in their career. So that kind of thought process existed, but which is relatively very less
एक
now.
बात ये भी है ना कि आज के बच्चे जो है ज्यादा अवेयर हैं अपने करियर पाथ को लेके, और बहुत सारे नए करियर ऑप्शंस हैं, बट
Awareness, as far as awareness is concerned, I think in our generation, especially in Patna, we were more aware. So now you have to tell your kids, help them to plan their future. We used to do ourselves. So parents were not that much involved. They will say you have to do good in study, or bata दें कि you have to do IAS or IIT, something like that. But now we are more involved with our kids. But you are right. We have more career options. So in our time, IAS, IPS, bank, PO, BPSC, railway, these are the few career options. However, I was a bit different. I tried mass media also, and I also had appeared for the FTTI with my friend Subhas Pathak for the FTTI directorship post. I did not get selected because 8, 9 seats were there. So very difficult, but we at least tried. But none of in our circle except my close friend Subhas ever thought of trying mass media or FTI or some alternative career
alternative
paths.
career path.
Everyone, medical engineering, PO, IS, BPSC, that's it.
Okay. Coming back to Bihar once again, because your whole story and novels are set in Bihar, why there is a craze of, means specifically in Bihar, there's a craze of government jobs, or is there any
The
of your
government,
protagonist, you know, is has that same put that same thought process that okay, there's a craze for that government job.
actually, it depends upon the social culture and the kind of perception the society generally have about the kind of work you do. For example, Bihar has some kind of feudal background, so power was very dear to us. So if someone is earning 5 lakh per month, is less important than someone is sitting in a powerful chair. So it is not directly related to money, and that power, craze for power was there. Plus, we do not have that much industrialized state. So Biharis have very few options. If there are private sectors or industrialization have happened like other states, then many people would have gone for that, which is changing for better. Now it is changing, but there were limited option, and the government job was
The
the
only
best
option.
way. You only option, and the kind of prestige it is still. Even in Maharashtra and other states, someone becomes an IS, still it is very powerful position, and people would die to have those posts, even from good family. In Bihar, especially job, if you get a good job, then you are celebrated. For example, I did not did much than passing a bank probationary officer exam. Still, I was a kind of celebrity for next 3 4 months. So other kids also get inspired. So reality will stuck later. Ki, main importance is what kind of job role you get and what kind of money you make. That is going to matter.
So yeah, when talk about the perception, yeah, there's a different perception, especially when it comes to Bihar about the government jobs. So okay, one more thing. So are you going to write any other book apart from this, means having a premise of Biharers, or your next novel or your further works are also going to be set up in Bihar?
Mostly because I am familiar with that geographical area, and since I grew up there, I spent most of my life till I got a job in different parts of Bihar. So I have lot to explore uh, about the Bihar. Maybe in future, partly some of the novel will partly be set in some other places. For example, Man from Motihari is partly set in US. So that is not a problem, not a challenge. Even Patna Blues also travels to Delhi. So we have stories set in different places. And the next novel I am writing, the part of a story is set in Tamil Nadu. So that will happen. But mostly characters will be from Bihar or have a kind of Bihari background. Because I am comfortable with writing about those characters because I am aware of Bihari culture, ethos, and society. So, but in future, if I get a story idea that excites me, then I will think of writing about other places also, other places, other people. There is no does or don'ts for me, so I can write on any character, in any place. So it should be a good story, emotionally touching. That is the key point for me.
Okay. In the earlier session of the same Lit Fest, I was talking to an author, and they were saying that you are very keen on translating your works, and your works have been translated into multiple language. So
So I was actually lucky. So because I am trilingual, I can read and write in English, Hindi, and Urdu. So, but mostly I write in English. But I translated my novel myself as demanded by the publisher. So I actually recreated in Hindi. And Urdu translation has also a lot of contribution from my side. So what happened when my book was accepted for publication? The person who first championed my book was the head of Hindi department. So she was head of Hindi department, but since she came from a small town background, so uh, her publisher gave the manuscript to her that you give your feedback, then it will go to the English department. So she was first to champion my book. So she asked me, you have written in English, so why don't you create the same story in Hindi? Not translation, but recreate it.
Recreation of the same story.
Uh, But translation becomes a bit artificial. And I got an opportunity to use those poetry, those proverbs and sayings, which was in Hindi, Urdu, or Bhojpuri. It was not possible to incorporate those things in English. And if you translate it into English, then everything is lost in translation. So it was a good opportunity for me to incorporate those details which I had to leave behind in the English edition because of kind of linguistic barrier. So, and after it was submitted to a publisher by my English publisher, they asked that they would like to publish in Marathi and Malayalam also. In between, one Marathi publisher contacted them and they got the publishing right. So this is how the three languages were published. Then my publisher kept trying for other languages, and then when the news goes out in market, everyone start asking him whether I can publish in. So in 10 language it has been translated into 10 languages, and 6, 7 are already in the pipeline. So in the coming years, you will give more translations of Patna Blues, and definitely Man from Motihari will also be being translated into a couple of languages. Till now, Marathi edition will be out soon of A Man from Motihari. So, but
Okay.
every book is luck. So, Patna Blues was lucky.
Okay. So you're saying so all are the Indian languages or some are of them are foreign languages?
Foreign language, yes. Arabic, it was published in Arabic in Egypt and sold across the Arabic world from Jordan to Algeria, Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arab, all the Arab world, it was available. So I used to get messages from Algeria and even the war-torn Syria. So bookseller readers used to message me. So it was well received in those territories, and it is being published in Iran, in Farsi, in Persian. Then there is possibility of publication in Uzbekistani, Turkish, and other European languages, but those are yet to be finalized. So it's better not to disclose, not to talk at this moment. Once it is finalized officially, we will talk. So I think 8, 10 languages more, 8 to 10 more languages are in the offing for Patna Police.
How much is the role of publisher? How much is the role of publisher in getting translated into, especially into foreign languages?
Foreign languages outside India is you need to have an agent. So local publishers might not have the influence, but in Indian languages and South Asian languages, they can play an important role. If they push, they pitch, there is a possibility. And it depends whether your stories, what kind of a story you are writing. The Patna Blues kind of a story was accepted by everyone around the world. So that they were able to connect with the character. So this is how the things. For example, in Kannada edition, Patna Blues is a bestseller. It was reprinted 3 times. So in Punjabi, it
I'm very
was
good
sold.
feed actually. I've been very
First
fond
print
of
was
treatments.
2, 3 months. Within the 2, 3 months, first print was sold out. For a good book, it takes 2 years to sell the first print run. But in case of Patna Blues, it was sold off within 2, 3 months and again reprinted. So I used to get call from a lot of Punjabi reading readers. So this is how you feel when you get direct feedback from the readers. So anyway, it has touched them. So if you are able to connect with the character or the story or the situation, then it becomes a reader's book.
So you are
Your
saying that,
sound is
yeah. So you're saying
Hmm.
that the content of the book also actually matters a lot, and the availability of the agent who is representing you.
Outside India, you need to have agent and a bit of luck.
Okay.
And content is very important. Obviously, if mithai tasty nahi hai to koi kha ke, but you need the role of the publisher that they reach out to the suitable persons or suitable readers and give them a taste of mithai so that they will buy it. मतलब जो खाता है वो मिठाई उस तक पहुंचना और उसको टेस्ट करवाना ये पब्लिशर का काम है। चुपचाप बढ़िया मिठाई को बक्से में बंद कर लो, दुनिया को पता नहीं चलेगा
दुनिया को
वेदर
पता
इट
नहीं
इज।
चलना कि बेहतर है तो क्यों है और नहीं है तो क्यों है।
फर्स्ट you have to find the people or readers who might be interested in your kind of book that publisher can do.
ओके। सो पब्लिशर्स पे बात आई है तो a lot of authors actually struggle to get good publishers, a listers. So what was your mantra behind
It is always actually my wife tells me wherever you go, you have 0.00% or something chance of getting success. For example, if you are writing IIT exam, 22 million students are there. If you are appearing for the UPSC, you have 4 5 lakh people. In PO exam, 4 5 lakh people. But how many get selected? Out of 4 lakh, 5 lakh, 50, 60, 100 people will get selected. In publishing also same applies. So if you are writing a book and sending it to the publisher, chance of success is very less. But what we do for the career, we keep appearing for the exams. If one exam does not work out, we go for the another. So you keep trying. So if you keep trying, you are committed to your work and you are sure about your writing, then I think 99.9% it will happen. But you have to keep trying. So I tried almost for 10 years to get a good publisher. I used to have an offer from some small independent publishers,
Mhm.
but I decided not to go with them. खाएंगे तो गुलाब जामुन ही खाएंगे, अदरवाइज नहीं खाएंगे, उपवास सही. So that kind of attitude sometimes helps you, sometimes harms you also.
Okay.
Many people decide to have a first book with some small or independent publisher, and then they graduate on to move to the some bigger brand.
Bigger
But
publisher.
everyone has their own style of working
Very
or.
understand. Okay. So my last question would be, what would be your suggestion to the aspiring authors?
So every new authors, I tell them the first thing is that you read, because I happen to meet many published writers who tell me they don't read at all. Published authors, so especially rom-com and campus novel kind of things. So they say I don't want to read. I okay, भाई सुर अगर गाना गाना है तो गाना सुनना भी पड़ेगा ना.
वो तो है ही।
That is the best way to learn. So I tell them read a book 3 times, the kind of book you are planning to write. Not only read those kind of, every kind of book you read, every genre. So you learn a bit of writing from each of them. And then read the similar books which you are planning to write and read it 3 times. First time to understand and enjoy the story. Second time to understand the structure, and third time to understand the message convey between the lines. So when you are reading third time, then you are not reading for pleasure, not reading to know the story. You are reading to learn how the paragraphs are transitioning from one to another, how chapters are ending. So each chapter should be like a mini novel, especially in the case of fiction writing. If you are writing a novel, each chapter should be like a mini novel, beginning, middle, end, proper, and then it will transition to the other chapter. And the entire book obviously will be divided in such a way. So, and initially, when we are a new author, we tend to put a lot of our personal belief or personal funda into writing. something that may be boring for the reader. So be careful about that. Okay? Nobody is there to read your inner thoughts or something. So you should write something that is genuine, authentic, and you like it. First, you like it. Don't try to write from the reader's point of view. That doesn't mean you write anything. So I get manuscripts from the many new authors, young authors. So they will write something which will not make sense, and they are not willing to accept any suggestions. So always open to suggestions, always ready to change, but don't make change if you are not convinced. So I got very bad reviews also, good reviews also before publication, but I never buzzed wherever I was sure. So many people have changed this, changed that, don't set a story in Bihar or something like that. Who would be interested in knowing about the folk culture in the Bihari hinterland? Okay, see, I will see who is interested. I will find out. I never deleted those lines. So that kind of a stand you have to take. But that doesn't mean you become arrogant or obstinate. You should be considerate and willing to accept good suggestion. And you are able to understand what is good suggestion or what is
What is
bad
the
suggestion.
message?
Critical view from others cannot be bad. Sometimes nindak niyare rakhiya kind of thing, a spirit should be there.
So that has been a wonderful time with you, sir. And thanks for being with us in the Legfest 2023. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, you will soon get the sequel to Patna Blues.
Sure,
So
sure.
I am working on this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Good
Take
day.
care.